Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to, I believe, the 6th closeout combo for week number 140, which I'm moments away from doing my final 7.3-ish mile run to close out the week. I'll be very, very, very thankful when it's over. It's honestly been one of the hardest weeks I've done, which is wild to say because I felt good directly after the Boston Marathon, which was on Monday, which I'll get to later. This may be a bit of a longer closeout combo in the beautiful weather outdoors. But yeah, Thursday, Friday, a little bit yesterday, Saturday, I just felt absolutely terrible. I wasn't sick at all or anything, but just like my legs felt like they creaked, I would describe it as. And just I was really, really sore. But we're almost there. About 7.3 to go. And then week 140 will be in the books, which is crazy. That we've reached another 10 mark. Anyways, I'll get into the big story here, which is, of course, on Monday, completing the Boston Marathon. Unfortunately, I was not able to get a closeout combo in last week. Kind of slipped my mind as Xander and I were, going around Boston, going to the expo, hanging out with our friend Sam, who goes to Harvard. But yeah, didn't get it in. Remembered it at like 10 p.m., but at that time I was like winding down for bed. So, unfortunately, didn't happen, but I'll describe everything in this one. So Xander went with me. For those of you who don't know, Xander's my younger brother. Most of you do know that, but he came with me, thankfully. And he was kind of my crew, I guess. So he dropped me off. We tried to rig the system a little bit with the shuttle buses that were supposed to go out at 6:45 a.m. I was like, we're not doing that. I'm not going on a shuttle bus from downtown Boston all the way to Hopkinton and just sitting around for 2.5 hours. That didn't sound like fun to me. So I was like, Xander, let's stay here and then try to work our way in there, on one of the back roads or something in the morning at around 8:30. That was the plan. But we get on the road going south towards Hopkinton, and we're about a little over a mile away, and we're stopped by the police who've closed off the road. Now, in my head, I'm like, I could end up, walking or /running, jogging this mile all the way to the start, but that doesn't sound like a lot of fun. Let's see if we can get around it. We go a little ways out of the way. We find a Boston police officer who tells us, fellas, what you got to do is go to Hopkinton State Park. Hopkinton State Park, it's just on the way. That's how he said it. And so we're like, thank you very much, sir. We'll go there. He said there would be a shuttle bus to take us over, kind of a hidden spot. So if you ever do the Boston in the future, go to Hopkinton State Park at around 8:30 to 9. And then you'll get there, and you'll have, an hour before you start or so. And it'll be a lot better than the shuttle buses, I personally think. So yeah, that worked out well. Was able to hang out kind of in the area, not the athletes' village, but a different area where there's a wide semicircle of porta potties. Anybody who was there will probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, then I was just kind of waiting a little bit. Had a little bit more food. Took off my sweats. Donated them. And then got to the start line where I was very, very, very nervous because I rarely run under 7-minute pace. If you've been following the Strava, you know that. I do a workout every once in a while, but nothing crazy. Because I usually say the 100-mile-a-week streak is work enough in itself. Don't need to be doing all these workouts. That just really drags me down. So I'm on the line, nervous. Everybody's told me, go out easy. Don't get carried away on the downhills. So that's what I do. I go out in about 6:30s, 6:20s. After the first half, I'm averaging about 6:25, which is, right around, I think that's right around like 250, 248, somewhere in there. So I'm like, okay, we're good. I'm going to try to step it down. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I feel phenomenal. Like, just start feeling great. This is the first time I've done this in super shoes, any race. I chose the Next Percents. That worked out very well. And, just started clipping along the miles, had a few sub-6s in there. And, yeah, it was great. Great. And caught up to Brett, my friend, and former athlete of mine at Adrian College. And then caught Rashub, former GLR teammate, at the very top of Heartbreak Hill. And then caught Robert, another former athlete of mine, at mile 24, right before the finish. And it was electric the whole time. If you were there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The weather was perfect. The fans were great. Having somebody around you the entire time was awesome, like runners. I was passing a lot of people on the Newton Hills, which felt good. And then my favorite part was turning left onto Boylston. Everybody talks about like that moment. It lived up to the hype, I gotta say. Something that did not live up to the hype, which Robert and I talked about after, was Heartbreak Hill. I thought it'd be bigger. It wasn't too bad, I thought. Now I can see how if you kind of spent yourself a little bit, it could kind of take it out of you. But thankfully I felt good after, felt good before, felt good during, and it went off without a hitch. So, but yeah, if you have not done the Boston Marathon, I would highly, highly recommend doing it if you can qualify. It is like a runner's dream. Like, it felt like a celebration of running, is the best way I could describe it. So, yeah. So that's the marathon. Went 2:44:23, 3-minute PR. Very happy with it. Afterwards, Xander and I had a specific spot he was going to meet me at, but unbeknownst to me, he had popped his bike tire. So he was walking all the way to this spot. Then 2 people come up to me, a 60-ish-year-old man and a woman about my age. And, they help me out, they call Xander, and then they take me to the Four Seasons Hotel, a little ways away. The guy buys me a $40 burger, just out of the kindness of his heart. I deduce that he's very, very wealthy, and I think he's like a multi-millionaire, I'm not exactly sure. And she is a model who lives in New York City, and she has to get back to New York City that night. And I throw out the idea to the guy once Xander gets there, hey, we were thinking about going to the Knicks game. It's $250 to $300 for tickets. We don't really have that kind of money. We spent a lot on the trip. Could you help us out with that? He didn't bite on it, unfortunately. So we didn't go to the Knicks Pistons game 2, which was Monday night. But we did end up taking the model back to New York. Her name is Audrey Coleman. She's very, very down to earth for somebody who's kind of big time, I guess. Because she was doing a shoot with L'Oreal the next day, and Xander and I took her back to Brooklyn, where she lives, and then we walked around the streets of Brooklyn, and went to a couple bars, and that was it. That was the post-Boston adventure for the 2 of us, and then we came back Tuesday, and yeah, ever since then it's been a grueling 6 days to get to 100, but now 7.3 away. But yeah, crazy story. After it almost took away, what was supposed to be the number 1 story of the day, which was, of course, the marathon. And there's a little more details, but, don't need to get too much into it. You get the gist. But yeah, if you've never done Boston, highly recommend doing it. If you were there, hope you enjoyed. Hope you ran well. And next week should be better. I should be feeling okay. I think I'm just going to take it real slow, just do a bunch of easy mileage, And yeah, close out convo number 6.